All right. Hello. Okay. Uh, I wanted to make this PowerPoints because I find as I help people out, a lot of people just don't have any basic things that'll really help them out. So this whole idea of this PowerPoint is to just give you a whole bunch of just really simple principles, really simple baseline things to do or to have in routine. And if you have a few of these going on, or maybe you don't have any things going on, if you start implementing them in your life, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to move well, um, feel better, and, of course, look better if you're moving and feeling better. So let's get into it. Get back to what you love, general guidelines for improving your health and simplifying your journey. So let's get started. Maybe. There we go. All right. So establishing a baseline. So, what is health? So, health is simply being alive. If you are not alive, you do not have health. So health is your passage from the beginning of your spring and summer years to the end of your fall and winter years. So often Western interpretation makes this all very complicated, but it's not. In this PowerPoint, I aim to give you a much larger perspective to view and make decisions from with some simple guidelines to follow along the way. So, when it comes to your time in your lifespan, there is a natural rhythm that exists. The cycle between outward energy and inward energy. This exists for your lifespan on a large scale and on a smaller scale in each of your days. So, your whole life and in within each day. For a day, for example, the sun comes up, we get up and move. So, outward energy. The sun goes down, we get down and become still. Our activity is seen in the light of day, and in the dark of night, the inner restorative activity occurs. So we're doing stuff outward in the daytime, and then at night, your body just kind of magically heals itself. Like, isn't that so cool, right? It restores itself on its own. So energy goes outward, energy goes inward. In our spring years, we have more outward energy. So you can think of a child, there's lots of physical, tangible movements and skill. And toward our winter years, or fall and winter, later in our life, our energy goes inward. So you can think of the deep energy of a composer, like an aged composer. There's energy that's refined and it's deep. There's a development on the inside. So lots of non-physical, non-outward, more inward skill or energy, such as leadership and wisdom. So the takeaway idea here is that there is a rhythm that exists. And if you can match your day and your season together on a large scale or small scale, the music of your life is going to make a good sounding melody. So if you're doing a lot of outward energetic stuff when you're young, that's the proper time. When you're young and you're doing things to do a lot. When you're, say, older, like way older, if you're doing more things inside, you're kind of matching with that same rhythm. So same with the daytime. If you're doing things up in the morning when the sun's coming up, you're going to match this kind of energy of the day. And if you are winding down in the evening and then falling asleep in proper times, then you're going to match with this rhythm. So, and if you're out of this rhythm, or if you have no rhythm at all, even if your day is upside down, you still need a rhythm. If you have no rhythm at all, then you're probably going to, this rhythm gets disrupted. You may experience pain or sickness. So, this is a very broad way of looking at all this, understanding a big rhythm. So, therefore, if you're suffering, perhaps doing too much work or even too little work, thinking too much, not thinking at all, etc., you can identify that in yourself and add its opposite to help create more balance. So if you're overworking, perhaps finding a time where you can alter that, right? So work a little, work a little less, or finding quiet times for yourself to just recharge. Or if you're not doing anything at all, then you probably need to be doing something physically stimulating or mentally stimulating, right? So just adding its opposite. Pretty simple. If I have a problem, what am I doing too much of? Add the opposite of it. So, therefore, if you're suffering, perhaps doing too much work, you can identify that in yourself and add its opposite to help create more balance. So, this also works cosmologically, such as your health will benefit if you go to bed early, and your health will benefit if you rise early following the seasons of spring, summer, fall, and winter within the day. So, being up with the sun, being down with the sun. In short, create a rhythm with proper ups and downs that work for you, and you will grow stronger for it. Oops. All right. So, baseline exercise. So, speaking of these cycles, here's an example in prescription if you're not doing it already or doing anything already. If we're working together, then I may be helping with one or two of these days, uh, getting exercise. But my whole goal here is to get you to a better place. So this means that I or another coach can't do all the work. You have so many or so few decades of your life left. And if you want to feel good and not deteriorate, you need to be routinely active. So you can look at our screen here. So 20 to 30 minutes of exercise, 2 to 3 times per week is a just fantastic baseline to start with. So get a light to moderate heart rate at least. And if you have no routine at all, just walk. I remember having, my big injury and my physical therapist was like, how about you just walk? And I just scoffed at him. I was like, walk. But if you're not doing anything, just getting cyclical movement like walking, um, just does so much for you. If you're doing nothing, it's it's poor situation. You need to be cyclically doing things. So you can get all the fanciest treatment in the world to make you feel better. But if you're not circulating your body on your own, it's like trying to grow a sunflower indoors by watering it once a week. Just like the sunflower needs circulating day and night, so you too need to move on and off in the week. It's not fancy, but it works. So as humans, we need to move around. If we're not moving around at all, then we can't expect the fanciest gadgets to really fix us because we're not giving ourselves just the proper input. So 2 to 3 times per week, 20 to 30 minutes a day. Get that going. All right. So eating simplified. So instead of going into exact nutrition, which takes some dedication to researching, let's make it simple and establish another simple baseline of thought. So rule one, volume and quality. Can you walk uphill after? The idea, don't eat so much you couldn't jog if you have to, and don't eat something you know would also make you feel slow enough to not to be able to jog if you have to. So what this means, be conscious of what you eat. Eat something and see how it makes you feel later and note that. Like, oh, I always feel bad after eating this. It's like, okay, well, let's find something that we feel good after eating. So be conscious of what you eat and what happens for how much, and for what types of food. So how much food makes me feel good? What type of food makes me feel good? Let's figure that out. If we don't feel good, then let's figure out our volume and our quality and adjust. Rule two, eat the sun. So eat what contains life. So do me a favor and take a big step and be open with me, okay? Think on a molecular level, just atoms, neutrons, protons, electrons, right? Old school science class. Little balls floating around. Why do some of these little balls form a leaf while another form the heart? Why does air stay up and water stay low? So these atoms follow some sort of rules, but the rules are not the atoms. So what could we call this? Intelligence, perhaps? So the intelligence of nature. So when we are consuming food, do we want to ingest and absorb the level of intelligence that can form a beating heart on its own, or do we want to ingest artificial things made by man more often? If the intelligence that created the world has outlasted every man, would it not then be a healthy choice to choose food created by nature over something more man made? So, all this to say, eat closer to natural foods as you can, and your body will thank you. Finally, rule number three, drink the moon. So, drink what contains minerals. Pretty easy. We covered eat the sun, so let's rule out the man made drinks as well. Drink the moon implies not just drinking water, but considering the water that you drink. If you try to run electricity through just plain water, you can't actually do it. There needs to be minerals within the water to help transfer the energy. So, water needs minerals to provide life. So, find yourself some quality spring water or add electrolytes that work for you and give yourself living water over dead water. So, volume slash quality, eat the sun, and drink the moon are three simple rules that can help you organize nutrition in a powerful way to transform your health. All right, mental and spiritual health simplified. So, mental and spiritual health is important. All right, it will affect your posture, your muscles, your bones, your organs, your relationships. It's in everything. So this presentation is concerned with fostering thriving life, okay? That being said, whatever religion, spiritual choice, or philosophy you subscribe to, this image tenet should support your inner well-being. The idea was pulled from the hexagram 10 of the I Ching. Many of the Chinese images that I'm referring to right here, and what I'm getting this principle from, are this Chinese image is just that. It's an image. An image is to give you an idea and a feel. As if I was to say mountain, I would not just mean mountain. I would mean everything that has to do with a mountain. So, what's it like on a mountain? Okay, well, it's high. What's the air like? Maybe it's kind of thin, or maybe it's raining now, you know? What's the humidity like, etc. So, I ask the same lens of thought here. We're looking at a picture, but I want you to take this picture and get creative with it. You know, what's it like? So, what's it like to walk on a tiger's tail in such a way it does not bite you or does not destroy you? What's something that you can do that is just challenging enough to keep you on it? And can you maintain wisdom in its pursuit in such a way it does not kill you? So, the idea of treading on the tiger's tail, tiger does not bite, should give you a healthy image to follow with your daily and yearly working hours. So whatever you're doing, is there something in your life that is like treading on the tiger's tail? It's just exciting enough, you know? Like if you're actually walking on this tiger's tail, is it engaging enough? Is it exciting enough to keep you, on it, to keep you alive. And are you keeping it such doing this activity or these things in such a way that you don't overstep, you anger the tiger and it comes at you? Are you doing this and are you pursuing this activity in a healthy way? So treading on the tiger's tail. Just think about that. Be with it. Do me a favor and be with it. All right. So general advice based on sex. So in these times, I feel I have to put this here because the roots of tradition are being eroded in this day and age, and having some sort of touchstone is immensely helpful. If there is any animosity in seeing this information first, I implore you to give it a chance slash consideration. Try it in your day and see how your life changes. So my simple advice here is for a man to feel very healthy, he should have spaces where he can lead. So 66% of the time is a good ratio according to these ancient symbols that you see here. We have fire on the left, we have water on the right. Um, so we have these three lines. The long lines are the masculine, the broken lines are the feminine. So when I say 66%, I'm looking at my left here, two yang lines, two masculine of the three. So 333, right? 66% of the time leading. It's the short breakdown of it. Now back to the simple advice. So 66% of the time is a good ratio according to the ancient symbols, as it is also important for a man to be led. So the masculine being leading, the feminine being um, following or being open, I'll get to in a sec. But each has the capacity to do the other's role. But if the masculine is completely doing the feminine's role, it's going to hurt the masculine. It's going to hurt the man. If the feminine is completely doing the masculine role, it's going to hurt the woman. So we're we're establishing what is something that can help us in accordance with our sex. So the reverse position would be a woman to have spaces where she can be led or can follow, where 66% of the time is also a good ratio, as women will also need to lead. So for a healthy, to support women health, having spaces where they can follow or be led, and of course there's still needs to be space for the woman to lead, but trying to keep a healthy ratio if you're getting too dominated on one side. So the reversal of this idea reverses the masculine and the feminine essence, which can be spiritually like working uphill. It's not bad, it's just harder on the body. So following this idea where one will boost a man's masculine essence, following this idea where one can boost a man's masculine essence and boost a woman's feminine essence spiritually and hormonally. So following these things is going to benefit you. In short, as a man practicing leadership is good for his spirit. As a woman, practicing openness is good for the spirit. Obviously, both ideas can be challenging to practice, especially in this day and age. If there is not space to practice it, you may have to create or hunt for one or someone willing to set up such a space. But it will pay off immensely within your heart, I assure you. This is a small piece of my interpretation of these images. For your own further pursuit, you can derive your own advice if you look at these images, fire on the left, water on the right, and you can pursue these images in a similar way as I described the image of the tiger before, and see these as role models of man and woman, man being fire and woman being water. So if you're searching for any kind of role model for masculinity, You can observe fire in its natural, what does healthy fire look like? And if you're looking for healthy feminine essence, then you can look and see what does healthy water look like. Is it stinky, damp, swampy water? Well, that's not very healthy. You're growing gross stuff in this and that. What is what does clean, flowing, clear, life-giving water look like? And that's a great feminine essence to follow. For men, what's a healthy fire? Is fire out of control, burning down everything? Is that a healthy fire? Probably not. Is a fire that's in the hearth of a home, heating the home, providing lights, providing comfort, providing strength, um, power, energy. Perhaps that's a more healthy fire to observe and model masculinity over. And being in line with these things will help your health. So they're very important. They're very important. I promise you. All right. So how to restore energy. So we'll keep this extremely simple. Do nothing. And when I say nothing, I don't mean scrolling on Instagram or watching TV, eating sweets, etc. I'd say walking or sitting and meditating are good, but take a break from the entertainment. Think how much energy you would have if you were in prison. all that all that energy that builds up and restores itself when you are bored. So just think you've been bored for a long time and you feel this well start to, gosh dang, I gotta do something. This is your energy coming back. So of course, like we learned in the beginning, we don't want to go too far on this side of the spectrum. But in this day and age, when entertainment is available 24/7 at any second, we often don't realize too much of it drains us. So remember, you always have the superpower to stop and do absolutely nothing. Actively doing nothing, actively do nothing, abstain, and your batteries and need to start doing again will return. So you're tapping into that nothing. And a special word of advice, if it's very difficult for you to do that, getting out of the brain and getting into just the senses is a fantastic way to drain the sun, so to speak, drain the erratic energy, drain the static. Just lay down or sit down and feel the weight of your hips on the chair. Feel how your feet feel. Feel the weight of your arms. Listen to your breathing. Just simply coming back into your own body is enormously restorative. So, in summary, in summation, one, health is your beginning and end. So, let's enjoy the journey. Two, follow a rhythm and the rhythm of the seasons, and you will sustain a healthy integrity. Three, nutrition. So, when eating, consider volume and quality. Do I actually feel good after eating this much? Or eating this or this much? Eat the sun. Is this food mostly made by nature or man? Is this time does it at this time does it still contain life in this plant or animal? So is are you eating a Mickey D's that could last a decade and still look the same, or you're eating something that's actually has a life cycle? Drink the moon. Is what I'm consuming of nature and still have nature in it? Does it contain minerals as if I was drinking from a spring? So doing what you can with grace. Four, walk/move 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week. Oh my gosh, if you're not doing anything, please do this. Please do this. Beautiful. 5, tread on the tiger's tail and don't get bit. So, am I doing something to me worth pursuing each day? If so, this energy will help preserve your health. 6, sex. Are you a man? Foster a place to lead, and your spirit will find reward. Are you a woman? Respect and nurture a place to be led, and your spirit will find reward. And finally, 7, recharge your batteries. Do nothing. Get away from all the screens and sweets, and your energy will return in no time. This simple list of advice should give you a fantastic baseline to not only preserve your health, but to create a foundation to thrive from. So, thank you for spending this time with me and taking the time to gather and ponder on treasures that will enhance your life. This is Jacob with Middleweight Training, and take care.